This is a map of all of the world's telephone country codes. You might even recognize your own, but it doesn't make sense
Yes.
because if every country has a country code, why are the US and Canada both number one? If there's
Yes. Why both number one?
a number one and a number seven, why is there no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9? Why is Greenland grouped in with Africa? Why was France 33rd in line for a country code? And why was the UK 44th? How did they even decide what countries
How they decide? Yes.
were even countries? Like Taiwan, who say they're an independent
886.
country, but China says they're part of China.
86.
Is it political? Is it to do with cables? Only one way to find out.
Let's find out how they decide those things.
The story starts in mysterious buildings, like this one.
Okay.
At first glance, it looks like maybe an office building, but then you look closer and you see that their front door isn't actually a door, and some of their windows aren't windows, and that this is in fact Houston Telephone Exchange.
All right.
Before international calls were automated, you'd need to call an operator and tell them who you're trying to call.
Yes. Who are?
Can you tell them what happened next? These guys would link you up with them manually using copper cables, sometimes via several other countries, and you'd be on an apparently very noisy international call in no time. I'm gonna hang up now.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
And this worked well. Until about 1956, when they put a big cable at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean connecting
Yes, they put the cables. Yes, these are the cables inside the ocean.
the UK and the USA. Suddenly, everyone wanted to call everyone, not just locally, but all around the world, all of the time, and connecting all of these calls manually started to look like a silly idea. Luckily,
Yeah, it is silly idea.
there was already a great system rolling out in the UK in 1958 called subscriber trunk dialing, or STD.
Silly, yeah, all right. Actually, picture.
The US also had STDs in 1958, but they decided to call it direct distance dialing, or DDD, disappointingly.
DDD, all right.
This meant that callers could dial a number consisting of an area code and a subscriber number and be automatically connected to another phone. The most practical
Yes, another STD.
way to automate international calls would then be to add another area code onto the start
Oh, okay. This is country code you're gonna do. If you're gonna do area code and a subscriber code in same country and outside country, you gotta also put another country's code. Okay.
of each number. But cooperation isn't always the world's strong point. So who was going to decide who got what number? Luckily, there was already an organisation that was good at things like this. They were called the International Telecommunications Union, or
All right. There's some kind of this thing. I didn't know it.
ITU, founded in 1865 by a bunch of European countries to deal with telecommy things, and by this point, part of the UN. And also kind of
Okay, this time part of the UN, but Elon Musk is saying they assemble UN.
unrelated to the big tall telecoms tower
European
behind me.
Union, I guess.
The ITU was suggested, and no one had a better idea, so everyone agreed. And they got to work deciding what numbers. We need the map for this bit. They split the world into areas based on existing telecommunication systems. The cables and
Oh my god, this is all fiber optic cables for your telecommunications. Or good, you see, this is all inside the oceans. Yes.
that, which loosely correlated to continents but also took into account some political history too. The US and Canada already had a numbering plan that they called the North American Numbering Plan, where all of the numbers started with a 1.
One with a one, okay.
So they got to keep that. We'll come back to that. Then, geographically left to right, the continent called Africa got number 2, which they subdivided.
Yeah, okay, they got number 2.
So each country got 2 digits or 3.
Alright, they got 2 in the front and then 1 digit anything and then 2 digit anything to get their country decided.
Europe had quite a lot of big and powerful countries, so they were assigned 3 and 4. So
Yes, they assigned 3 and 4. Okay, quite big country.
there was more space for more countries to have 2-digit country codes. Then things appeared to go in the opposite direction, over to South and Central
Okay, South Africa.
America, who got 5,
America.
also subdivided.
Alright, they got 5.
Over to Southeast Asia and Oceania, who
They got 6.
got 6, subdivided.
Alright, subdivided 6. Alright, this all pinkish.
Then Russia and neighbouring regions, which was then the USSR at 7.
Alright, USSR got 7. This is okay.
Across to East Asia and Southeast Asia at 8, subdivided.
This got 8, Southeast Asia.
And West, Central and
Yes, this is the Asia, Western
You got
Asia.
9.
9, alright.
South subdivided. Whew. We'll never know officially why
Damn.
each zone got each number. I mean, if they turned around to countries and said, we gave you this number because we don't think you're very cool, countries probably wouldn't be that happy about it. But one popular theory suggests that 3 and 4 were lower numbers and at the top of the rotary
Yes, okay.
phones, and therefore they were more desirable. Maybe Europe wanted them, but I can't find any actual evidence of that. So while they decided on the zones, deciding who got
Which building is that in the backside?
put in what zone was not going to be easy. As they're about to find out, Greenland is in the continent of North America geographically, but politically it's been part of the Kingdom of Denmark in Europe since
Alright, how's that gonna work now then?
986. So naturally, its country code is 2 for
Okay.
Africa. Europe was simply rather full.
What? How this happened?
When Greenland didn't have an existing phone connection to North America or Europe, Africa had space, so they just tagged it on the end at 299.
That's so funny to get inside that, like,
It's a similar case with the Faroe Islands at 298. The British
Faroe
Indian
Islands.
Ocean territory is sort of Africa adjacent. Politically, it's British, which is Zone 4, but the island directly above it is part of Zone 9. In this
alright, which is this?
case, it wasn't really integrated with anywhere. So again, they put it with Africa in Zone 2 because it had space. But no
Alright. They had space. Whoever got a space, they got the another country inside them. Okay.
No one really uses it because it doesn't have a civilian population. 297 sits all the way over here, surrounded by ones and
Oh damn! How that happened here?
fives. This one's Aruba. It used to be part of the Netherlands Antilles, a former Dutch Caribbean territory, which used 599.
Oh damn, dude.
When Aruba became its own telecommunication system, it got its own country code. Again, Africa had space, so it was assigned to
Yes, okay. Africa is space, so sign 297 like Africa.
297. And this was one of the easier political changes to manage when it came to country codes. Sometimes the world changes, and the collapse of the Soviet Union caused quite a kerfuffle. In fact, when the Soviet Union collapsed,
Soviet Union collapses this area, and this area. It collapsed.
almost everyone chose to be reassigned
Oh, they chose to reassign. They got into Europe and they got into Asian.
to a new zone, most going to 3 with Europe or 9 with West, Central, and South Asia. But Kazakhstan's network was so tied up
Kazakhstan, yeah.
with Russia's that changing all of the numbers would have just been a nightmare. So 7 is shared between just Russia and Kazakhstan.
Okay, 7 is Russia and Kazakhstan.
Oh my god, wait, I'll be back.
Oh, hey, hi.
Country codes do help us stay in touch with the rest of the world, but they don't help us stay connected to the internet when we travel without paying ridiculous rates. The same can't be said about today's sponsor, eSIM.io.
My internet company.
All you gotta do is download the app, tell them where you're going, select your package, and install your eSIM. They offer time-based
Alright, that's a good thing to get some issue.
data plans, or with their pay-as-you-go option, if you've got balance left over at the end of your trip, you can use it on your next one. And with
Alright, that's good situation.
their one SIM feature, you don't need to install a new SIM every time you buy a new package. You install one SIM, keep it for life, and your app switches automatically between over 190 countries.
Damn, that's a good thing.
That's great for short trips and stopovers. If you're
Yes.
interested, visit their website or download their app from the link in the description.
Someone's calling you. Someone's calling.
Oh, and they just said that you can use the code Luke5 at checkout to get a bonus on your balance.
Okay, look 5.
Guys. In fact, even deciding what countries were actually countries was proving tricky, because giving a country code pretty strongly implied that it was an independent country.
Alright, which is independent country? So you said North Korea does not have this code.
Here are some examples for you to watch from your country. Taiwan says that it's an independent country, but China says that it's part of China. That's why this isn't the Taiwan embassy in London, it's the Taipei representative's office in London. That's a tricky one for
Alright, it's tricky.
a system that's supposed to represent every single person on the planet to figure out. The ITU couldn't list Taiwan as a sovereign
Alright, Taipei Representative Office of the United Kingdom.
country without taking sides. But Taiwan does have a separate telecoms network to China. So the ITU gave it the code 886,
886. Okay, not just like the Chinese.
but listed it as Taiwan, China. This allowed
Taiwan, China. Listed as Taiwan, but China
it to
inside.
get its own independent country code without recognizing its autonomy. And when Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008, it wasn't
Okay.
universally recognized, but they did have their own telecoms network. For years, Kosovo was forced to use
Embassy of the Republic of Kosovo.
different countries' country codes. Serbia's, a bit awkwardly, Slovenia's, and Monaco's. In 2016, it was agreed that the ITU would issue 383 to Kosovo without recognizing it as a sovereign state, just a
Okay, without recognizing. Alright, that's good thing.
separate telecoms network. So now that we know the zones and who actually needs country codes, how do we decide who gets what number within each
Yes.
zone? Very good question. Well, to start, larger countries got smaller country codes, and smaller countries got larger country codes. This
Okay, smaller country gets large country code and larger country code is smaller country codes. That's kind of works. Okay, you can see right here.
is the only way to ensure that everyone got a country code, but that the majority of phone numbers were as short as possible. Again, despite what Reddit says, there is no official reasoning. Believe me, I've looked. But of the original country codes published in 1960, only 6 countries still use the original code.
Only 6 countries are used original codes. Okay.
Those are the United Kingdom,
United Kingdom. Okay.
France,
Italy,
Germany,
Germany,
and
Spain,
Greece. And
Greece. All right, this 6 country only.
some theorize they hung on to these for a reason. One popular theory is that 33 and 44 were the most desirable numbers in the European
Again, no real evidence for this. Okay.
zone because they were the same number twice and therefore easier to remember. Wait, didn't I say I was going to talk more about the North American numbering plan? Oh yeah. The
North America, yeah.
American numbering plan was around before the ITU's country codes, but not everyone was a fan. Even though it looks like the US and
1 and 1 Canada.
Canada are just number 1, if you look down here, you can see that the number 1 is actually
Number 1 is actually so many countries.
followed by an area code.
The area code, okay.
This meant that each state got its own unique code,
Alright, it is stated as a unique code. I don't know that
but
thing.
also that all the other countries in the North American numbering plan also got their own code.
Alright, look at them. Look at this, damn, dude.
Not everyone wanted in though. St. Pierre and Miquelon are in North America geographically, but politically, they're French. They didn't want to join the North American numbering plan,
They don't want to join that.
but it also didn't make sense to put them under France's domestic code.
Alright.
So they grouped them in with the rest of the Americas in Zone 5. I think it's
Okay, Engine 5, okay.
time for a quick fire round.
Quick fire round, alright.
Hi there, I was just wondering, does the Antarctic have a country code? No, no country is allowed to own
Oh,
any part of Antarctica, so each base just uses the code of the country that runs it. Hey, Amy, does Vatican City have a country code if it's a country within the city of Rome, within the country of
Yeah.
Italy? It does, 379, but most calls go through Italy's 39. How did they decide what numbers the islands right out in the middle of the ocean got? Remote islands don't necessarily get numbers based on where they are geographically,
Can they get African numbers, you told us.
but more to do with who set up their telecoms network. So, for example, Guam, all the way over here, is part
Yes.
of the North American numbering plan
Yes, North American.
because the US
Yes.
set up their networks. But
Yes, if they have the left area networks, they got it.
French Polynesia over here is 689 because they run off Pacific networks. Can country codes die? No, they are not alive,
They do not die, alright.
but they can stop existing, like 37
East Germany.
for East Germany, 38 for Yugoslavia, and 42 for Czechoslovakia, countries which also stopped existing. Are we almost finished talking about country codes? Maybe. But
Damn.
what's next for country codes? There's been a few developments in the way that we call each other over the years. Over in Zone 8, there's a whole experimental special services
Zone 8, alright. Special services there we have. Okay.
set that went down about as well as Windows Phone did.
RIP.
800 is the Universal International Free Phone Service, which was supposed to be a single toll-free number
Alright, single toll free number, but they
you could
get
dial
it.
from any country. But this was confusing for both carriers and callers, so people just used the local ones instead, like 0800 in the UK or 1800 in North America.
Alright, this is what we do. We put some 0 and 1.
870 is for global satellite phones, and 878 was an ambitious idea for a global personal number you kept for life, which sounds about as convenient as it does inconvenient. It's basically dead now, but something
Yes, okay, it's basically dead now, right?
that did catch on was VoIP,
VoIP, alright.
which is basically calling people using the internet rather than traditional phone infrastructure,
Yes, that's what happened when you call nowadays,
like
yes.
Wi-Fi calling, WhatsApp calling, or even video calling. None
Yes.
of these technically even require a phone number. So are country codes
Country code does not really matter in that case, right?
on their way out? Probably not. In 1997, the ITU issued new guidance reframing phone numbers from instructions for a physical line to being more like names, a way of really easily identifying
Alright, so not lines or names.
who was calling you no matter where they are in the world. This was a pretty massive change because it meant you no longer needed to
1 Oxford Street to 3 Piccadilly.
have a physical line to have a phone number.
A phone number John Hartgovan is calling Luke O'Sullivan.
So today, while a lot of the original wires and switches are gone, our phone numbers still work. We keep country codes and phone numbers not because we really need them, but because we understand them already, and changing the system would just be a lot of admin. Telephone exchanges
Alright, you are right with this case.
like this one don't just connect our phones anymore, but our internet too. Different technology, same idea, and probably here to stay, I would imagine. In all seriousness,
Yes, I just like the style of you presenting this video. I just really like that thing. That's good.
what is absolutely mad is that the whole world managed to band together and create a system which has been used for decades.
Yes, this is fantastic, man.
Every country has a country code. No country has ever opted out or come up with a different system. Looking at a map of country codes, you're not just looking at a guide, but potentially one of the most impressive political compromises
Yes, very impressive political winning here.
of all time. It represents a globalized world and an overwhelming desire to connect. That is impressive.
That is impressive. Thanks for making this video. This is very good, Luke O'Sullivan.